Scottie Pippen has been chirping last week, calling out KD and Doc Rivers and even First Take. And then yesterday on the Dan Patrick Show, Pippen discussed the 1994 play in which Phil Jackson drew up a game-winning play for teammate Tony Kukoc instead of himself and had some very harsh words. Listen.
Have you talked to Phil about this? Because by saying a racial move, then you're calling Phil a racist.
I don't got a problem with that.
Do you think Phil was or is?
Oh, yeah.
Ooh, Perk. What's your reaction to these comments?
Well, first of all, every time I see a photo, a video of Scottie, he has the damn bourbon sitting right on the side of him. And so with that being said, that's one thing that's disturbing to me. And I'm being dead serious right now, okay? Look, I don't understand what's going on with Scottie right now, and I really don't care. Seems like he's just venting, he's letting it all out. Maybe he need a reality show. I don't know. Real Housewives of Atlanta may need to, talk to him or whatever the case may be. I don't care. But to call Phil Jackson a racist.
Well, I feel like Perk and I are probably on the same page here. I don't know Phil Jackson. He may be a racist, but I don't think that it's fair to call him racist because he drew up a play for Tony Kukoc. He drew up a lot of plays for Michael Jordan, and I think that Perk was on to something. Scottie trying to sell this liquor hard. I hope somebody buy it because he's saying all types of crazy stuff. All the way back to last week where he did an interview for GQ with Tyler Tynes. He was talking crazy about KD. He coming at everybody. He trying to get some attention for this book or this liquor. I don't know what he wants people to buy, but please buy it so he will stop saying crazy stuff on TV and in print, because I can't get it. You could point to something else that Phil Jackson has done. You maybe even point to Phil Jackson calling LeBron's crew a posse, but drawing up a play for Tony Kukoc. Kukoc can shoot. That ain't a bad idea. We never thought about Scottie as like the game closer type of guy. I understand being offended by that. I understand being mad. But taking a leap from that to saying the man is racist, it could be a long jump. And again, I don't know. Maybe Phil is racist. But he ain't racist because he drew up a play for Tony, one of the best European players we've seen in the NBA.
Right, and I've been around Phil Jackson a few times, played against him. I played with Derek Fisher in Oklahoma City, who won championships with Phil Jackson, and he had nothing but high praise for Phil. He said Phil was a great coach, great guy to be around. He was down to earth. So far as me knowing him as being a racist, I never heard any of his players call him that. But I will say this. I did start looking at Phil a little sideways when he addressed LeBron James, Maverick Carter, Randy, and Rich Paul, and called his crew and called LeBron James a group of people, some very intelligent, wealthy guys, African American guys, a posse. I did have a problem with that. But right now, this is all about Scottie Pippen. This is nothing about Phil Jackson. This is about Scottie Pippen and what the hell is going on with him. Somebody need to find him, have a conversation, or sit down. I don't know what's happening with Scottie, but God bless his heart. That's all I have to say.
Yeah, I think the best read on this is Scottie understands the media. And Scottie understands the more inflammatory things he says, the more attention he's going to get. And once we get him attention, then we can see that bottle that's sitting next to him. He can sell some of that, or he can sell the books or whatever. That's all he's trying to do. He's trying to make a couple dollars, and we helping him by doing that. So he did the right thing. He's saying wild stuff so we can come on and talk about it.
Well, I tell you what, Dominique and Charlie, if that bourbon is going to have you speaking crazy like that, I don't want no parts of it.
I don't know. I feel like most bourbons could have you speaking crazy.
Yeah,
I'm not a bourbon girl, but I feel like I've seen a thing or two in my day.
I wasn't before the pandemic started, but man, we had to get through it somehow, Charlie. We had a little bourbon, but I ain't messing with that Scottie bourbon. That Scottie bourbon a little too strong for me.
Yeah, but, a little too strong. A little too strong for everybody. Okay, well, we'll leave. You have something else you want to say, Perk?
No. You got it, Charlie.
Okay, all right, we'll leave that drama there.
Scottie bourbon hit different.
It does hit different. Because we actually have more drama that we're going to have to discuss coming up on First Take, believe it or not, because Luka Doncic now has a new GM and a new head.
Well, that was Scottie Pippen You heard his voice on the Dan Patrick Show. Let me tell you something. Scottie Pippen is promoting a book, some liquor. He might have had a couple of sips of that liquor.
I knew you was about to say that, though. I knew you was about to say you must be drinking that liquor.
Hey, it's brown liquor, too. You know how you get some of that brown liquor and you just start talking? So you heard some of the things that he was talking about. Now, listen, he sat down with GQ, and that article was published last week. He was asked why he refused to go into that playoff game back in 1994 against the Knicks after Phil Jackson had called to play for Tony Kukoc, right? To take the final shot. So I want you to take a look at what Scottie Pippen said in the article. He said, quote, "I don't think it's a mystery. You need to read between the fine lines. It was my first year playing without Michael Jordan. Why wouldn't I be taking the last shot? I have been through all the ups and downs, the battles with the Pistons, and now you're going to insult me and tell me to take me out? I thought it was a pretty low blow. I felt like it was an opportunity to give Kukoc a rise. It was a racial move to give him a rise. After all that I've been through with this organization, now you're going to tell me, take the ball out, throw it to Tony Kukoc? You're insulting me. That's how I felt," end quote. So, Pippen was on the Dan Patrick Show, right? And he was asked about where he made the comment, a racial, and to give him a rise. And so listen to Scottie Pippen's answer to that.
But have you talked to Phil about this? Because by saying a racial move, then you're calling Phil a racist.
I don't got a problem with that.
Do you think Phil was or is?
Oh, yeah. I mean, do you remember Phil Jackson left the Lakers, wrote a book on Kobe Bryant, and then came back and coached him? I mean, who would do that? You name someone in professional sports that would do that. I think he tried to expose Kobe in a way that he shouldn't have. You're the head coach, and you're the guy that sits in the locker room and tells the players, this is a circle, and everything stays within the circle, because that's what team is about. But you as the head coach, open it up, and now you go out and you try to belittle, at that time, probably one of the greatest players in the game.
So that was Scottie's take on that. Now, I know Dan Patrick in that interview said, do you think Phil was being disloyal, not racist? And Pippen basically responded back to him. He's like, hey, that's how you see it. I see it differently. What did you think about when you saw and heard all of that? Because it's a lot. There's a lot.
What I would say, though, Brian, is I wasn't inside those locker rooms.
Right.
I wasn't around the Bulls.
Yeah.
Scottie was. Mm-hmm. Scottie see it different than probably other people every single day. When you put yourself out there, when you call somebody a racist, you better be sure.
Yeah.
Because that's not cool.
Right.
If you know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
Like you can't label somebody something unless you're sure that that's the case. Now, I don't know him as a racist. I only know him as
Phil.
Phil. I only know as a coach.
Right.
As a coach,
Yeah.
Whatever. Scottie referenced the book Kobe Bryant talked about in Phil's book. He wrote. I don't know what that is about because I didn't read the book. Mm-hmm. So I really don't care. I think what Scottie is doing right now, though, is he's opening himself up to a lot of criticism about how he felt at that time about not only the Bulls, but about Michael Jordan, about Phil. And we already know how he felt about Tony Kukoc.
Right.
You played with him. Not only did you play with him, they went over and got him from overseas to bring him as part of the team and paid him more money than they paid you. So you didn't like him coming into the door. Then, on top of that, you already are looking at him kind of side-eye every single day you walk in the building because you feel threatened as the second guy to Michael Jordan at that moment and in that time that Tony Kukoc is getting ready to take over as the second guy. Mm-hmm. So you already feel a certain way. Mm-hmm. Then you have an opportunity with about a minute something to go in the game to take a couple shots where you missed them. So it wasn't like you didn't get the plays drawn up
Right.
for you. It's
You didn't,
just
like you didn't get opportunities. You had a couple in the last minute.
A couple